Hey guys, Sydney Brae Gwinn, and in today's video, we are going to show you how to restore and protect your car's faded trim. Today, I have with me Bradley from Armour Detail Supply. So tell us what we are going to be doing today.
So today we have our Trim Plus coating. It's a restore and protect product in one bottle. It is a black dye infused ceramic coating, giving you up to 2 years of longevity and durability for the trim.
Behind us, as you guys can see, we have this sun faded peeling Saturn behind us that is going to be a great candidate to show you on really old faded trim. And then behind the camera, we have Anthony's Ford Raptor that you guys already did the coating on the paint, but the trim, even though it's a newer vehicle, it has been faded by the sun. So we're going to show you both ways to have the old trim and new trim be restored and protected by the Trim Plus.
All right, let's get started on the Saturn.
We have got to prep this trim so that we have proper installation of it. It looks like we've got some bugs present. There's probably some old, really old tire dressing, things like that. Who knows when this thing was washed last. So Bradley, explain to me what are our proper steps to get this trim prepped.
Yeah, so first steps is getting the trim obviously clean and degreased, like Sydney said. For that step, we're using our dedicated, what we call tire cleaner, but it's our dedicated plastic and rubber cleaner. So perfect for this black plastic trim. This is diluted at 4:1, so that's kind of our lower end dilution just for a nice gentle cleaning. That's not going to damage any trim. And we have just a little scrub pad so we can go ahead and scrub that plastic trim.
All right, cool. So I'm going to spray this on the pad first. And then we'll just give this a good scrub. We got to get the little bugs off there. And generally speaking, plastic cleans up pretty easy, so we shouldn't have too many problems here. All right, I think I got that bug off there. Okay, so good to go there. Next step.
We've got a little rip and rag, and we can just wipe that off and get that all cleaned up there.
All right. Yeah, those are scratches, they're not bugs. Okay, that actually worked out pretty good.
So next step after that, now the trim is cleaned, degreased. Now it's just a final prep cleaning with a panel prep just to get final oils and any of the stuff left behind by tire cleaner off the surface, ready for that Trim Plus to bond properly. So got your little rip and rag there with the panel prep.
Cool, and as we can see, it looks like the trim is darker, but it's really just because it's wet, right? So if we allowed this to dry, it would go back to the lovely faded gray. So again, I'm going to fill my towel with the prep. We're going to wipe that down. All right, good to go there. Next step.
Let's let this dry out.
Yeah.
Let the trim come back to the natural finish that it is. Let all those let all the moisture and the alcohols and everything just splash out of there for a couple minutes. Yeah. Once it comes back to nice and gray, we can go ahead with the Trim Plus installation. We are ready to go to apply the Trim Plus. First step, give it a nice shake, 20 to 30 seconds or so, just to get that formula all mixed in there. Especially with the dye, you want that all kind of in one nice solution so that you can apply to the trim and it just be a super even application. So we've done that, and now we are ready to apply it to the applicator. So typical like a ceramic coating, you just want to give it a good coverage. So generally we're going to recommend 3 lines on there just to give it a nice even coverage on the applicator so you don't have any dry spots. And then we can kind of butterfly that in just to, again, make sure that you got even coverage on the applicator, and then you're ready to apply that to the trim. So you're going to apply that just like you would a ceramic coating, nice, even application strokes. You can put a little bit of pressure on the applicator, just gonna kind of help it soak into the trim and almost kind of scrub it into the surface.
Now, is this something that you recommend multiple coatings, like multiple, like 2, or is generally 1 layer going to be enough?
So generally 1 layer is enough. If you have such a finish as this where it's beyond faded, this is an extreme case scenario, you may need 2 layers just to get a nice even application and just like the truest, blackest, darkest finish. So that will be kind of a case-by-case basis, but generally 1 layer is totally fine. So with Trim Plus 2, you can apply it, and if you apply it in an even manner, such as Sydney is right now, you really don't have to wipe it off. You can allow it to just dry into the surface. After about 10 minutes or so, it'll be dry to the touch, and then you just leave it for about 4 hours and it'll be ready to go into the elements, get wet and things like that. If you you know, maybe didn't apply it the best, you applied a little bit too heavy, or you have some spots that are a little darker, a little duller, you can either go back with a second application, or you can just go back with a light towel wipe just to kind of level that out. So yeah.
Very cool, that worked really good. All right, so it's been a couple minutes. We let it soak all in. It was super easy. It looks fantastic. So let's check out our before and after hardline here. It looks absolutely amazing. So let's knock out the rest of this faded trim.
Yeah, let's get to it.
All right, so Bradley, obviously I'm a detailer. I do this every day in my shop. I don't necessarily always like to tape these off. So what happens if I get it on the paint off the plastic?
I'm the same way as you. I would never tape this off either. The nice thing about Trim Plus is it's designed to dye plastic and not your clear coat or not your paint. So if you get a little bit on the paint and you notice it, just take a nice towel and you'll be able to wipe it right off. That's probably within 10 to 20 minutes. You're totally fine to be able to just wipe it right off. Let's say worst case scenario, you left it for days or weeks.
Right.
At that point, you're probably gonna have to treat it like a ceramic coating high spot, and just a little bit of polish by hand will take that right down. So,
okay, cool, awesome. So no threat to the paint or anything, you're good,
exactly.
good to go. Awesome. Yep. All right, so we have wrapped up on the Saturn and its old faded trim. So now we are over here on the Raptor. And as you guys can see, some of the trim has aged and faded kind of inconsistently. So this is gonna be a great application for this. So Bradley, tell me what is different on this vehicle versus the Saturn?
Yeah, so the Saturn, absolutely obliterated trim, super faded. So there you wanna go through the maximum amount of prep steps to just get it as clean as possible, get all that oxidation off with the tire cleaner. With this stuff, it's newer trim, it's not as oxidized, it's just kind of wearing inconsistently. So with this one, you don't have to go crazy with the tire cleaner. We can just go with the panel prep just to get that trim, you know, degreased, and then we can apply the trim coating and it'll look great.
All right, so same thing, we're just gonna load up our towel with the prep and give it a good wipe down. There's different finishes on this truck, so how would you kind of adjust to different finishes, or is there some that we should stay away from?
Yeah, so with Trim Plus, even though it's a black dyed coating, it can work on almost all different types of trim. So we saw on the Saturn, that was a more grayish type of trim. It wasn't completely jet black. And then here on the cowl, you can see, or on the hood plastic, that is a really kind of jet black plastic, more porous and things of that nature. And then the windshield cowl is a black trim that's not as porous, a little bit more you know, smooth. Trim Plus going to work on all of those. It's not going to turn something that was gray into black or you know, kind of change the finish. It's just going to recreate that OEM look that it had originally.
Okay, cool. And then as you guys can see on this center part, there is something that obviously sometime in the past, something was used that kind of discolored this, so it'll be a good test to see if we can turn that all a consistent color again. So we'll give that a second to dry and get the rest of the plastic prepped. Now I'm ready to start doing this trim. I did switch my applicator to the Detail Factory foam brush. This is just gonna help me with all the contouring. This is not a flat surface. I don't wanna miss any of these grill portions that are waffled. I wanna make sure to get every edge and have it look nice and finished. So we're gonna use the foam applicator brush. I'm gonna get that all loaded up. And then this is just like a paintbrush. So you're literally just going to apply it in a paint motion and then we'll kind of smooth it out with that leveling towel. We are done with both vehicles. They both look amazing. I myself am super impressed by this coating. I think for a couple different reasons. I expected it to almost be a little bit greasy, look like it had dye in it, and really on both of them. So the Saturn has more of a charcoal finish. This one is supposed to be more of a black trim that restored them to natural OEM finish and no greasy dye or anything like that. So super cool, I'm super excited about it. Remind me though what we can expect as far as longevity and things like that.
Yeah, going to be dependent on your trim, obviously, and how the car lives, but we're seeing up to 2 years of durability, not in just the restoration aspect of it, but also the hydrophobic properties on that trim. Okay. So you're getting, again, that restore and protect aspect for up to 2 years. So
very cool. After application, how should we treat that? When is it dry to the touch? When can it go out and live in the elements?
Yep, so you already touched on it. 10 minutes after the application, it's dry to the touch. So you're good there. 4 hours after, it's ready to get wet and just kind of go out in the elements. And then 24 hours, you're able to wash the trim, use some chemicals on it, and it'll be totally fine.
Very cool. So obviously, as a professional detailer, a lot of times I just use a regular traditional ceramic coating, but what I love about this is I do think it does give a better finish to the trim and things like that. So while it's great for the DIY person trying to restore their own car, I know for me as a professional detailer, I would love to implement this into a lot of my coatings too, because I do a lot of older vehicles and things like that. So I think it's a great option. Yep. So I'm super excited about it. I hope this video helped you guys learn a little bit more about restoring your faded trim or protecting your new trim. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below. I know that the whole team at TRC, as well as Bradley as Armour Detail Supply, will be in the comment section answering any of your questions. For more videos like this, stay tuned right here at the Rag Company YouTube channel. We'll catch you next time.